What is the most obvious sign a couple won't last long? When they act as though they don't like or respect you. And when you point that out, they say you're being too sensitive. When they fight with each other in a passive-aggressive way in front of friends. Went to this dinner once where the guy was showing off his new plasma TV, and it ended up with a girl throwing one of his awards into the TV to smash it. Really uncomfortable to be a guest there. When one person really wants a threesome and the other person really doesn't want a threesome. One does not listen when one talks. Attempting to transform the other person in its entirety. Never succeeds. Read an article somewhere where responses to bids for attention are a huge indicator. Disrespect. Couples who mistake infatuation for love. My friend works in the wedding industry and said the couples who shove cake in each other's faces tend not to last. Edit should have clarified. Only when it's clear it was not talked about beforehand. Lack of trust. Not necessarily about the big stuff, fidelity, money, your real name, but namely in basic, everyday communication. If one or both partners is constantly questioning what the other person meant, or are constantly looking for reasons to get offended or taken aback by what the other says, it doesn't bode well for the long-term prospects. As a witness, you can feel the underlying tension when they interact. The stress of it all usually leads to resentment, and dissolution of the relationship. I've found that there's an inverse relationship between the amount a couple posts on social media about their so, and the actual happiness in that relationship. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves there's no issues. I would say no emotional connection. Like the other person cannot trust you and tell you what he feels or what he's been through or deals with right now. And here, I understand that some people need their time to open up and find their own words to express their emotions, I'm one of them. But I'm referring to people who don't even try, even for small stuff. Just to give an example, normal day. You and your pal sit together. You ask them about some stuff that's been bothering him, 'cause you see him worried and sad. He doesn't say anything or that's nothing. This happens over and over again. Or you do SDH that your pal doesn't like, but he's not telling you. The only time you will hear what he didn't like in the relationship or what he didn't like about you will be in an argument or at the breaking point. One says sorry all the time and the other doesn't. Resentment. It's pretty obvious from afar, you can see it in their faces. Honestly, I'm not sure I know anymore. I know couples who literally don't speak to each other about their day-to-day life and schedule, and yet they're still together. I know couples who never ever talk about the big questions in relationships but somehow manage to white-knuckle their way through it. I know couples who would openly disrespect their partner to their face in public and they still stayed together. Their ability to apologize when they're wrong. Also one's ability to reconcile after blow-ups. Different communication styles. One partner withdraws from conflict and stops communicating while the other partner wants reassurance and feels distressed and abandoned by communication withdrawal. They're both in their late 90s. When they don't defend or support each other in public, when they make fun of their partner in a cruel way. They don't respect each other. Calling each other ugly names and saying hurtful things during a fight. I still hear the hurtful things an ex has said to me. No amount of apologizing and I didn't mean it will stop that reel from replaying in my head. One or both people use the relationship to feel whole or fulfilled. A healthy relationship is something you add to your life, not something you use to fix your life. Every time one of them makes a mistake, they are on a call with friend explaining what was wrong. The relationship started with cheating. When one of them is clearly rebounding and not over their ex. When one of them seems more excited about the relationship than the other one. Loyalty tests are a top red flag. You're clearly not ready to be in a relationship if you're that fragile. They don't look at the bird. Meaning that if one wants the other to look at something like a bird they just spotted, and the other doesn't care, bad sign. They thrive on drama. It may last a couple years because they enjoy the fighting, but they're not gonna be married for 40 years. Having a kid will bring us closer together and things will get better. The more you try to convince social media you're an amazing couple, the less I believe it. I've never known an emotionally secure couple who did this. They met on Love is Blind. When basic, obvious boundaries aren't respected. The partner is only allowed to have friends that are the same sex, but the other partner is allowed to have friends of every sex. Attempts to cut break wires, purchase of rat poison, similar, out-of-character suggestions of helping to pack each other's parachutes. Influencer couples. One constantly overruling the other. When they won't match your gait. Always has to be in front of you or will hang behind you. Never wants to be in pictures if someone's taking a picture and motions you together, or you feel like taking a selfie of both of you, or hand someone your camera to take a picture of both of you. Couples that have no friends, hobbies, or life outside their relationship. Zero communication. The price of the wedding. Apparently, studies have shown an inverse relationship between the cost of the wedding and the duration of the marriage. Neglect their kids to focus on each other. Putting each other down. When they can't handle disagreements without it turning into a full-blown argument. If you can't navigate the small stuff with some understanding, the big challenges are gonna be a nightmare. One or the other or both cheated on someone to be together. Sleeping with other people. If anything they say to each other sounds like sitcom dialogue, it's over. Different need meter. This is to say, one may be needier for attention than the other. If that's the case, not one person is in the wrong necessarily, but it's a leading cause in breakups. Strangers in the bedroom. They lie in bed together, but there's an emptiness between them. Neither of them desires to embrace the other. One of them posted on one of the MI subreddit about the relationship. Besides the famous 4 horsemen of the relationship apocalypse, to name, criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling, I will add lack of sex rejection. They expect the other person to change after marriage. They don't accept someone for who they actually are. They don't hang out together much. I have known a lot of couples who show an insane amount of PDA are actually not doing too well behind closed doors. Almost as if they need to put on display they are so in love to others. When they shove the cake in each other's face at the wedding. It's just so aggressive and contemptuous.